And we are so excited to have this opportunity to spend some time with you in God's presence. I know that we're living in a day when there's so many things that we're following and unfollowing. We need to make sure that we never forget to follow Jesus. Everyone knows John 3:16, but do we really understand what he gave us? It says that God so loved the world that he gave. But what did he give? He gave us the gift of forgiveness. And so we hope that while we're spending this time together, that you would spend some time inviting your friends and your family. Let's get together. Let's spend some time in God's presence and worship him and listen to some amazing stories and testimonies from some powerful women. I have a powerful woman sitting next to me. Her name is Salinda Mumphrey, and she's going to share her story of hope, love, and inspiration. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited to have you here. You know, not only are you beautiful, but you're intelligent and you're committed to the kingdom. What has been the most inspirational part of your story that has really motivated you to be who you are?
Oh, wow. There's so many facets, but the most interesting, I would say, is really the story of me losing everything, me finding God through losing everything. Yeah. I think that is the most interesting part, the best part of it all, just learning to love God even more and knowing that he is my everything after I lost everything.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, so when you say lost everything, what do you mean? You mean as far as health? You mean, what exactly do you mean?
Definitely, yes. I had 2 breast cancer scares, Renee, and it ended up being 2 massive breast infections. Wow. And at the same time, I was in the process of losing my home, also losing my automobile and my marriage. Everything happened in 1 year. So at that time, I just lost everything. The enemy tried to make me lose my mind, but there is a God that I serve that loves me, and I fell deeply in love with him, and that's how I found myself again.
Yeah, I love that you say that you fell deeply in love with him. What was the steps that you took that helped you to share that with other people?
Well, I had to realize that there was something wrong, because a lot of times we go through things and we hide it. That private pain, we don't want people to know we're dressed up and messed up, beautiful and broken. And that was me. But I had to realize, hey, there's a problem. You're broken right now. You really need to seek God. Everything that you've been holding private, you need to put it before God, lay it there at his feet, and let him breathe on it. And that is what helped me to get back to the point of loving myself and finding that deep relationship with God, along with my mother praying for me, my family, and people that could really speak into me.
Yeah, I love that you say you had to give it to God, so you had to not be private about it. Why do you think that in our culture we think that it's okay to be publicly okay but privately broken?
Well, there's this thing, what happens in this house stays in this house.
Say that again, girl, because we were all taught that.
Yeah, so that is something that we hold on to, and we take it to our grave, so we keep it privately. We don't want people to know that we're really going through something, and we end up, those things, I say that we carry our wounds into the womb, and we ended up in the grave, and we take all those secrets into the grave with us, and sometimes it hurts the people that we've left behind.
Yeah, I love that you say we take our wounds into our wounds, and one of the things you also said was that hurt mothers build hurt daughters. And so when you're helping, the thing you've birthed now is sheology, herology. And so I thought that was so powerful, because when you said that, you got to start with you and then help somebody else. So tell us a little bit about that. And
yes, herology is the reincarnation of the woman. I smile when I say it.
Yes, you do. It makes me smile too.
Yes, and her is the healed, elevated, and restored woman.
Say that again.
Healed, elevated, and restored woman.
Wow.
Yes, because there were so many damaged pieces that I had. And one thing about it, when you have damaged pieces, everyone that you come in contact with, you're breaking them, you're cutting them with those broken pieces that you carry. So realizing that I was hurting people that I was coming in contact with, as well as hurting myself. And when you become a woman of herology, you learn how to go deep down inside and pull that her out that's been abused, the her that has walked around with so low self-esteem, the her her that just had no idea of who she was, because that was me. I always say that I was the woman at the well once before, because I looked for love in all the wrong places until I had that encounter with God. And with herology is what I want every woman to understand, that there is a her inside of her that deserves to be loved, and the best love that she can give to her.
Yeah, I love that, the excitement and the passion you have because of what you've gone through. What you've gone through has given you what you're doing, the ability to do what you're doing. When you want to inspire other people by sharing it. What has been the most rewarding part of herology for you? What has been the most rewarding part of it for you?
Wow, when I hear women say, I found her again, that her that I lost, I'm learning to love her, because as women, I'm not a mother, but I see it every day where we give ourselves, we play so many roles, but yet we forget ourselves. We play hide and go seek with ourselves, and we forget to go and find her. So when women tell me, hey, I found myself again, I'm loving me, I'm learning to celebrate myself, that is the most rewarding part, because it's not about me. I want every woman to win.
Yeah. So if you were to tell someone that's listening, says, oh, wow, I wanted to find, what's one practical way you can begin to become healed, elevated, and what other things? And restored. What's one practical way they can start that journey?
Okay, I have a program, a step that I guess I use called the change of art, because you have to change the situation that you're in if you want to be in a better place. Art is something beautiful that we think about, and God made us all beautiful, even though we don't feel that way. So A, you have to acknowledge there is something wrong. R, you have to then remove those bandages, and then T, you have to treat it, and the other T is then you take your life back and you love on yourself.
Wow, that's really beautiful. It's really beautiful, because I think that you're using acronyms and using things that people can relate to. And so when people come through your program, how do they, what are the steps? I mean, do you have conventions, or how do people get connected with herology? How do you benefit from it?
Yes, I have a women's movement, so I do work with women, of course. I have a women's movement, so people connect with me through Facebook, Instagram, word of mouth. We get connected that way, and I'm also a life coach, so I'm out there helping people, speaking life. I say I speak life into everything that lies dormant within.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I love that you have allowed your pain and your mess to be your message. At your lowest point, did you ever believe that when you were going through the loss of all those things, did you ever believe that God would be able to use what you were going through to become what it is right now?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I really didn't believe in myself anymore. I was shamed. I was just feeling so much shame because I didn't want people to know that I had a failed marriage. I felt like I had failed myself, failed my family, just failed, period. And I didn't want anyone to know that. So I thought that God couldn't use me. And then also on top of that, having the breast cancer scares, having to look at a wound that was there, I felt so ugly, as though no one would ever want me anymore. So it was definitely a process of thinking God would never want to use me and all the broken pieces that I had.
And the broken pieces have become something beautiful. Like you talked about art. You know, God is turning your beautiful, your mess into something beautiful. And so if there's someone that's listening who is in a place where they're at that point where they just lost everything, what would be one thing that you would say to them to help them to get up again?
God specializes in broken blessings.
Wow.
Everything that has been broken in your life, God can blow on that thing and create a blessing out of it. So embrace the brokenness so that God can put those pieces back together again.
So you mean we shouldn't act like everything is okay and just fake it until we make it?
No, I always say it's okay to say that you're not okay. The thing is, you have to admit that you are not okay. God already knows what you're going to go through. He already knows about your life, but you still have to talk to him and let him know, God, I'm tired, but I'm giving everything back to you because I know that you are a healer, redeemer, and you can fix anything.
Yeah, I think it's important that we understand that we don't keep secrets, our secrets keep us. And when you talked about that, you know, we take it to the grave, we take it to the wound. The pains that we have, they're going to affect the people around us. what would be one tool if you were going to give someone a toolbox, something to put in their toolbox? What would be one tool that you realize helps you to navigate dealing with brokenness where you can do it in a healthy way?
Okay. Something so simple, I'm going to say a journal. Because I journal, I talk to God that way. When I'm feeling down, I'm hurting, I really believe that he reads that journal. So I would definitely say a journal.
Yeah. And so how important is it for you to, like you said, changing the environment? Let's talk about that. What does that mean? Does that mean that you get rid of all your old friends and you go in isolation? Or does that mean you go into environments where you can meet new friends? What would that look like?
Changing the environments is definitely, if you are in a place where you have friends that are not speaking life into you, because we know birds of a feather flock together. Right. And sometimes when you're broken, you are attracted to brokenness.
Say that one more time.
When you are broken, you are attracted to brokenness, or brokenness is attracted to you. So you have to find an environment that can feed your spirit, feed your soul, begin to speak into you. Sometimes you have to say goodbye, walk away from it, so that you can go to where God is trying to take you.
Yeah. And you know, one of the things that we have been taught is that you need some time alone to heal from pain before you jump into another relationship. Because what happens when you keep choosing the same kind of person? Is that the people or is that you? Could you speak to that a little bit? Why people keep in the same patterns?
Yeah, I love that you said that, because that was me at one time, jumping from relationship to relationship, looking for love, just wanted to be validated. But I say this, when you've been hurt, allow yourself to be healed by God until he has released you to love and be loved again.
So if someone were to say, okay, healed by God, so what would be an example of a sign that you have been, or evidence of one area where you say, okay, this is something you can know you're on the journey towards healing? What would be one thing that someone could use as a check mark in their heart? Okay, I'm on the journey towards being healed.
That's it, when you said heart. When you said heart, God lives inside of us. And when you feel that closeness with him, that relationship, and you yearning for him constantly, right, then you know that you have been healed. Relationship-wise, that person you're no longer yearning for, you no longer want to be with, you know that they hurt you, that you are able to move forward because God has healed that part of your life.
So basically, your appetite changes.
Exactly.
You know, whereas before you could consume everything, now you become more selective about what you let into your life and into your circle. And when you talked about new environments, that's what I saw. I saw that you'll know that you're on that journey when you are open up to being in environments with other women and you can talk about it.
Definitely.
You know, and you can help somebody else. And so if you think about something that you learned that really transformed you through this whole journey, what would be something that you learned that there was something that you just did simply every day, or that really helped you to kind of say, you know what, Sylinda, get out, get out of this space, do something different? What was that thing that for you? I
realized that I was not the only woman that has been through something.
Yes.
That we all go through.
Yes. And I think, you know, like you said, you know, the enemy he wants to isolate us. He wants us to not value ourselves. He wants us to think that we're the only one.
Yes.
And so by you creating this beautiful organization, this movement, you're creating a safe place for people.
Right.
How do you work in groups? Do you work one-on-one? Exactly how do you help people on this journey?
Both, one-on-one and in groups. Yeah. I have a women's movement called the Glow Sisterhood, GLOWW. That's giving love openly to the woman within, learning how to love the woman that is on the inside. So we have different events. We come together, pray together, and just be there for each other as sisters. And it's a group of women that have just survived life, period. Yes.
So that means you have a place where you are open about your brokenness and your pain, and you're coming together unmade up.
Exactly.
And you can talk about it.
Removing the bandages.
Yes, yes. What are some of the bandages you found are common with us as far as women of color? What do you think are some of the bandages, the most common bandage that we actually are carrying?
Our self-worth. We don't know who we are.
Yeah.
We have no idea who we are. I say that we've allowed the world to feed us falsified lies of what we should look like, how we should dress, how we should sound, and we adapt to those things, and we think that if we don't fit that mold, then we're not good enough.
Yeah, I love that. You know, because I think it's important that we realize that the Bible says, greater is he that's inside of us than he that's in the world. Sometimes we allow what's on us to be more valuable than what's in us. And so I'm grateful that you've created this environment and this culture to help young women get onto this course. Because you start with them. What age do you start working with them?
As early as 9.
9.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
9 years old. And what's the oldest person that you've worked with?
The oldest, around 67.
Wow. So there's no excuse about you're not too old or too young.
Never, never, because broken girls grow up to become broken women. If you were not healed as a little girl, it's time for some healing. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to get healed together.
Yeah, and I think it's beautiful because I think sometimes we think that because we're getting older, that we're getting better, but that's not the case. And so I want you to tell us, how do people find you? How do they connect with you? What's your website information? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, sure. You can go to my website, SalindAD.com, and also on Instagram, Salinda_D, and on Facebook, Salinda D LLC.
Wonderful. And so if you had to say a message that you would just like want, your ringing message, what would that ringing message be to women?
To every woman. I want every woman to know that she is somebody, that there is a her inside of her that is waiting to be embraced, loved, just that cheer. Just she wants someone to cheer for her, to validate her, and just let her know that God loves her and that nothing she has done, nothing at all, that God will not forgive her for, and he'll still love every part of her, every private part and every broken part.
So you mean we can't surprise God?
Not at all.
You mean that we mess up, that there's nothing we can do that he won't forgive?
Forgives us over and over.
Over and over.
Oh, he's so
again.
amazing.
It's amazing how he loves us. And I just thank God for your willingness to share your pains and your frailties, because so many times we want to put our best self forward, but that doesn't help people. It helps people when we put our worst self forward so they can see themselves in us and they can connect with us and they can feel like they're a part of us. So Sylinda, thank you. We love you. We're so grateful for herology. And so now we are going to have an amazing time of worship. And Dominique Bradford is going to help us to discover the importance of overcoming. And his song is We Overcome.
Good evening, everybody. This is the day the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Come on, put those hands together. Remember that you can overcome anything with Christ on your side. The word says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the power of our testimony. If you agree with me, come on, put those hands together. Hey, come on, listen to these words. Through dangers and roads we take, through trials and tribulations we face, God's love has kept us, and His grace has sustained us, and through His word we overcome. Through dangers and roads we take, through trials and tribulations we face. Hallelujah. God's love has kept us, and His grace has sustained us, and through His word we overcome. We overcome sin.
We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the power of our testimony.
We stand on your word.
We stand on your word and believe what it says. We overcome.
We stand on your word.
We stand on your word and believe what it says. We overcome.
Through dangers and roads we take. Yes, Lord. Through trials and tribulations we face. us, and His grace has sustained us, and through His word we overcome. Through dangers and roads we take, through trials and tribulations we face. God's love has kept us, hey, and His grace has sustained us, and through His word we overcome, yeah.
excited to have you here, Dominique. Thank you for bringing your spirit of worship and praise and your amazing people with you. You want to tell us who you have with us? Who do you have with you today?
I have my wife with me, Latifah.
Oh, praise God.
And I
It's
have
nice to have
one of my
you.
tenor and my good friend, John.
Wonderful. So what did you have to overcome to be able to sing like that?
I had to overcome a lot of self-doubt. I was one of those people that always compared myself to somebody else, especially if it was something that they were doing that I wanted to do. But I had to get to the point where I said, they have their audience who they're trying to reach. I know who God is calling me to reach. So.
Wonderful. That is a beautiful message to share with a generation that's so consumed with comparing themselves to other people. So to young people who are on this journey, who want to be where you are, what's one thing that's helped you to get here that they may not even be thinking about?
The thing that helped me get to this point was really trusting the God in me. Trusting the fact that God has gifted me with this gift called music, this gift called preaching, or whatever he's called me to do. And standing on the fact that he gave it to you. So he doesn't give anything that's half done. He doesn't give anything that's like garbage. He gives something that's always great. So trust the God and trust the greatness that's inside of you.
I love that because I think so many times we hear the voice, we hear the music, but we don't know the story.
Right.
And so thank you for sharing that because there's so many young people who are looking for people that they can follow who are follow-worthy. And so I pray that this next song and this time that we have together would encourage those people who may not believe in themselves, who may not know themselves, and who may not know God. So I pray that your voice and your music and the melodies from your heart would draw people to the kingdom and create revival in our homes and in our churches and in our families, but most of all in the music ministry, because there needs to be some restoration in the music ministry so that we have people who are singing to the Lord and not to the audience. And so I thank you for this time of just helping us to just get in his presence and to really shut in with God, because that's something that we used to do back in the day that people don't know about. And so
I remember them days, those shut-ins.
The good old days when we
days.
spent time in his presence and we were focused on him. And so I pray that while we spend this time together, that will be what will happen. And so the song that you're going to sing now is a song that's going to really help us, because the song is called Trust in You. And who is the you?
Well, I'm trusting in God, trusting in him. In Jesus.
Thank you so much.
Amen. Come on, put those hands together. Oh, we're going to trust in you, Father. Hallelujah. We bless your name. Come on, singers. I will yet trust in you. Oh, I will yet trust in you. I'm going to trust you, Jesus. I will yet trust in you. Hey. I will yet trust in you. I'm going to trust you, Lord. I will yet trust in you. I will yet trust in you. I will yet trust in you. Come on, put those blessed hands together. I will yet trust in you. Yes, Lord. When I can't see my way, you give me the strength from day to day. You're the kind of God that holds me in your arms. Keep me safe from all danger and harm. That's why I will yet trust in you. I will yet trust in you. I'm gonna trust you, Jesus. I will yet trust in you. I will yet trust in you. I'm gonna trust you when I will yet trust in you. I'm gonna trust you, Jesus. I will yet trust in you. I will yet trust in you. I will yet trust in you. Yeah. Listen, you're the God of the universe. You created heaven and earth. You hung the stars into space. Arrange the years, months, weeks, and days. You sustain life when death was near. No doubt about it, you're the reason I'm here. You're the reason I'm here. Hey,
I will trust.
come on, let's have a little church.
I will trust you. I will trust.
Yes, I will.
I will trust you.
I will.
I will trust.
Trust in you, God.
I will trust you.
I will.
I will trust.
Trust in you, Jesus.
I will trust you.
Trust in the Lord
I will trust.
with all your heart.
I will trust you.
Lean
I will trust.
on your own understanding.
I will trust
But
you.
in all your
I
ways,
will trust.
I will acknowledge
I
you.
will trust.
For you will guide me.
I will trust.
And you direct me.
I will trust you.
Trust in you.
Trust in you.
Oh,
Trust in you.
oh,
Trust in you.
I'm gonna trust your plan.
Trust in you.
I may not understand, but I will trust you.
Trust in you.
I may not know what's going
Trust
on,
in you.
but I will trust
Trust
you.
in you.
For you have not,
Trust in you.
you have not forsaken
Trust
me,
in you.
and you have not,
Trust in you.
you have not left me.
Trust in you. Oh, trust in you.
I have no choice
Trust in you.
but to trust you, God,
Trust in you.
but to trust you, Jesus.
Trust in you.
I will.
I will trust.
Hey, I will.
I will trust you.
Oh,
I will trust.
I'm gonna trust you, God.
I will trust you. I will trust.
Yes, I will.
I will trust
I'm gonna trust your plan.
I will
I'm
trust.
gonna trust your word.
I will trust you. Trust in you.
Trust.
Trust in you. Trust in you.
Trust.
Trust in you. Oh, trust in you.
I'm gonna trust your word.
Trust in you.
I'm gonna trust your word.
Trust in you.
For you're able to do.
Trust in you.
You do exceedingly
Trust in you.
and abundantly
Trust in you.
above all.
Trust in you.
You can add something
Trust in you. Oh, trust in you.
to the power.
Trust in you.
I'm gonna trust you.
Trust in you.
I'm gonna trust
Trust
you.
in you.
Say I will.
I will trust. I will trust you.
Hey, everybody clap those hands. Hey, everybody clap those hands. Father, we praise you. We magnify you. We're going to trust your word, God. Hey, we're going to trust your plan, Jesus. Come on, singers, let's drive it a little bit. I will.
I will trust.
Yes, I will.
I will trust you.
I will.
I will trust.
Yes, I will.
I will trust you. I will trust.
I'm gonna trust you.
I will trust you. I will trust. I will trust you. Trust in you. Trust in you. Trust in you.
Yes, I will.
Trust in you. Oh, trust in you. Trust in you.
I'm gonna trust your plan.
Trust in you.
I'm gonna trust your way.
Trust in
Everybody
you.
clap those hands. It's all right. We're gonna have a little praise party right here. Everybody clap those hands. Come on, it's all right to dance before the Lord. Hey, everybody move. Yeah, everybody move. We bless your name, Jesus.
Unless you're just coming in, we are having a party and we're celebrating the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. We would be remiss to not introduce you to this Savior and to this King. Romans 10:8 tells us that if we confess with our mouth and believe in our heart that Jesus Christ died from the cross, we will be saved. Then you will have the same celebration and the same joy that we have. Today, we want to remind you of that, and we want to share an amazing testimony of a woman who loves and knows herself and realizes the importance of self-care. And we have the amazing, BJ Martin sitting next to us. Thank you so much for being with us today, BJ.
Thank you for having me. I'm full of gratitude. Thank you so much.
We are enjoy. We just enjoyed a party, didn't we?
Yes, it was awesome. It was awesome. I loved it.
Great time of celebration.
Yes.
BJ, what makes you different from all the people and makes you alike? Because so many times we focus on what makes us different. What makes you like all the other people who are probably watching you today?
I would say what makes me like a lot of people is that I share the same experiences that a lot of people have gone through.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what would be one of the experiences that you think has probably shaped you the most to be the woman that you are?
Look, where do I start with that? I went through a time of depression. It started in high school. I wanted to commit suicide.
Wow.
So I tried to overdose on Tylenol PM.
Wow.
And people don't know that about me. They do now. That's fine though, because I'm okay. I can stand in my truth. I'm okay with that now, you know. And even as an adult, I went through depression again. I took pills, antidepressants for that. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have gone through that as well. Yeah.
I love that you are willing to be so transparent because so many times we are so concerned, just like what Sylinda talked about, we're so concerned about keeping it all together. And I think that one of the things we've seen this year in women in leadership and women in positions of authority is that it's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
You know, and it's just as beautiful to be broken as it is to be all together. And so what helped you to navigate wanting to end your life? What was the thing that was your anchor that helped you?
I mean, honestly, in that moment, it didn't work. I just had a good night's sleep. That's basically what happened. And when I woke up, I said, it's not meant to be.
Yeah.
You're here for a reason.
Yeah.
Even at that young age, maybe about 15, 16 something, I knew.
What was going on that made you feel like the answer was going to be to, I mean, what made you feel like, okay, this would be a good answer? Or was it something that you saw or something that someone said? What made you think that that would be a good solution?
For me to
Take your life.
I didn't want to, feel the pain anymore. And I was feeling that it didn't matter if I was there or not, you know, if I existed or not. In that moment, that's how I felt.
Yeah. And so what helped you to realize that you were valuable and that you're important, that you mattered?
Yes. That when it didn't work and I woke up the next day, I said,
God was like,
yes. He was like, no,
you can't take what I
no.
did. It was not yours.
Exactly. So I said, okay, all right. So I left it alone.
So when you see people who are in that place, because I believe that when you've gone through something, there is like something inside of you that connects with people who are struggling with that. When you do that, what do you share with them? What part of your victory do you share with them to help them to overcome?
Okay, well, on Facebook, I do a lot of postings, a lot of inspirational posts. I focus on Mondays, it's Mental Health Mondays, so I'm always posting things about mental health, you know, getting help, don't be ashamed of it. You know, just in certain questions you should ask yourself, you know, have you gone outside today? Have you talked to anybody today? Have you taken care of your hygiene today? Just different questions so that you can, you know, maybe, you know, ask yourself these things. So I'm very, that's what I do. And I just let people know that well, I'm here, you know, for you, and that people are here and they love you. So
I think that it's important, you know, like you talked about, you know, writing and journaling. As far as you like poetry.
yes.
And so tell us about you said poetry is therapy.
Yes.
And so explain to me how you came to understand that poetry was therapy.
Because every time I began to write, I would cry. I would just be crying, and I'm writing, and I'm crying. I'm like, what is going on? I didn't know initially that I was being healed. I was healing.
Yeah.
And you hear people say, "Oh, this," but it's the truth. Putting those words on that paper has been very therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Very.
And so what you're saying is basically, in order for you to heal, you have to get it out.
Yes. Yes.
You have to
Absolutely.
get it out. You have to share it. So do you do spoken word? Do you share your poetry publicly, or how do you use it? How do you leverage what you write?
Okay, so I decided that I was going to go ahead and go public with my poetry. So I put together a project, and I've been in the studio for a couple of months now putting it together. So I will be releasing my first single in next month. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
I think it's beautiful. I was reading someone's bio, and they said, "I was created to create."
Yes.
And I think that when we realize that we're created to create, that instead of consuming or destroying, it gives us something, because everyone has something different. Like yours is poetry, for Dominique it's his songs, for Sylinda it's her movement. We all have something, we all have a way to take what we've gone through and empower someone else.
Absolutely.
When you write, what was the first poem that you wrote, and what was it about?
Oh, thank you, God. The first poem that I wrote was about just a deep, dark place that I was in. My first poem was very dark, very dark. And when I got finished, I'm like, oh, this is dark, but it was my truth. And I know sometimes the truth is not beautiful. The truth is not always beautiful. The truth can be kind of dark and sad, So yeah, this is a very dark poem, very.
And I think sometimes we don't understand that there's a difference between our truth and the truth. And sometimes our truth is a reflection of our belief system. And so how do you think that your faith has played a role in you going from having a dark truth to having a truth that is going to inspire, it inspired you to make a song?
Yes.
How has your faith helped you with that?
I think just knowing that I can, just shine just a little bit of sunshine on people's lives. That's what motivates me too. Just to know that I'm making a difference in just one person's life. That means a lot to me.
That's beautiful. But I think so many times we get so concerned with numbers, and we don't think about quality. We think about quantity. And so how many tracks have you come up with so far, and where are you at in that journey, and how has that journey been for you as an individual? What's been the hardest part of it?
The hardest part is just being an independent artist. Even though I'm a poet, I have music too. So being an independent artist, you have to fund your own pay for studio, you have to pay for production, you have to pay for everything. And, you have to make the time. And I think that's probably the most difficult part. The creative part, I have that, and right now I have it's a 4-song project. They call it an EP.
An EP?
Yes,
Okay.
an EP. So I have a 4-song project that I have completed it. I have, and I was very proud of myself, because it's like I'm getting it out, and now everyone will be able to hear and feel, where I'm coming from. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for you, because I think so many times we don't realize that life is a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
And all the little steps that we take are helping us. Because when you accomplish one thing, you just accomplished being a co-author in a book. So I'm sure that was a catalyst for you to say, if I can do this, then... And I think that's one thing that anthologies do. It helps you to discover what you're capable of doing.
Yes, yes.
And so tell me, when you were writing this, your poetry, how do you decide which ones will remain poems and which ones will be songs?
I can hear, when I'm doing the poem, I can hear a melody.
Wow.
You know, or I can hear a chorus or a hook. You know, I can hear it on some of my poems. I think it just comes natural.
Yeah.
And some poems, it's just words. I don't hear any music with it. I don't hear anything else. So, yeah.
The reason why I'm asking these kind of questions is because creatives have a different mindset. And I think like when you are an analytical versus a creative, the way that you see the world is through the gift that you have.
Yes.
You hear music, for writers, they hear words and stories. And so I think it's important that you share that background, because there might be some young poets and some young psalmists or some young writers out there that they can kind of recognize that because I know for me, when it comes to like interior design, I could sit in a room and close my eyes and I can see the room finished. And I was telling my husband, he said, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm seeing the room." I said, "Can't you do that?" He was like, "No." Just like you said, I hear the music.
Yes.
So everyone has a gift, and so I think it's important that when we share the background of how we do what we do, it can maybe help the next generation to kind of say, well, oh, I do that too.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
So you can inspire the next generations of poets and singers.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing to let God use your life and your gifts. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that time of wanting to take your life, but it's the bittersweet part of it. If you hadn't gone through that, you probably wouldn't be who you are
today. Exactly, I would not.
Yeah.
I would not.
Yeah.
So yes.
So when you think of the things that you do behind the scenes that have helped you to heal, what would be one of those things? I know you talk about the checklist. I love that you talk about, do you go outside? What would be some of the things you recommend someone to do to be on that journey towards mental health?
Yes. I say every morning, give yourself a hug. That's like one of my things. I do it every day. Give myself a hug. You know, don't expect other people to do something that you should do for yourself. That's how I feel. Maybe when you start hugging yourself more, then someone will come into your life that will hug you, you know, love you like they're supposed to. So that's one of my major things. Just give yourself a hug. Hug yourself tight. Yeah.
You said what?
Hug yourself tightly.
Yes. I think it's important because you attract, and Sylinda said that you attract what you are.
Yes.
So if you're loving on you, then when people come into your life, you already set the atmosphere for how they're supposed to love you.
Yes.
And so I want you to tell us of all the things that you've done through your journey, the one thing that you look back on and you say, if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't do that again. What's that one thing?
If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do it. That's the question? I don't know if I really have answers for that, because again, everything that I've been through, all my trials and tribulations, all the, you know, they say mistakes, I call it mistakes.
Missteps.
Yep, all those things have made me who I am today. So I don't think I have an answer for that question.
And the reason why I asked that question, because so many times when you're young, you think that, well, if I would have did this different, then this wouldn't have happened. Everything that we do, God has a purpose for.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
Missteps, the mistakes, the good choices, the bad, it makes us who we are. So there is really no answer to that question, but it's important to ask it, because so many times when you're young, you think that, oh, I'm going to do everything perfect and my life is going to be perfect. And that's just not reality. We talked about it before. God is not surprised when we make bad decisions, when we make mistakes. Tell us the name of the product, with the name of it, your project that you're working on.
Okay. Well, the song I'm going to release is called Love Frequency 527. Yes, it's about love. Just a deep, you know, just a deep soul-filled love.
Yeah.
It's about love.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we all need, you know. But I think the important thing is, you know, that I hear from you about mental health is the importance of you got to love yourself first.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to love yourself. Because the Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
We got to love ourselves.
Yes.
And so I'm so grateful for how you've let your story bring you to where you are, and it's made you who you are. So tell us, how do people get in touch with you? How do they connect with you? How do they be a part of the journey that God has you on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I'm on Instagram. It's ms_BJ Martin. I'm on Facebook, BJ Martin. Email ms_bjmartin@gmail.com.
Yeah, so it's your name.
Yes.
So is BJ really your name, or is that your initials for something?
It's not.
Okay.
They're just initials.
Initials.
Nickname I got for the job. I used to work at the airport years ago, and some friends just started calling me that, and it just stuck with me.
Yeah. Well, it fits you. It fits you.
Thank you.
A small name for a person with a big mission and a big heart and a big purpose. And so I think that your name is small, but your purpose is big. And so we're excited about what God is doing to help you help people understand the importance of mental health and
Yes.
Self-care, because self-care is a real thing.
Yes.
It really is. And I think that we need to understand that, and we need to take hold of that. We need to begin to talk about it, like you said. Talk about the, simple things. Did you go outside today? Did you brush your teeth? And because
Yes.
those are indicators that you might be going towards that dark path.
Yes.
So I appreciate you being willing to share that and your transparency.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So if you had to say one thing, what would you tell people?
I would say to everyone, people from all walks of life, men and women, children, I would say, just like the sun, you are necessary.
That's so beautiful. All of us are necessary, and all of us have a purpose. And I think sometimes we haven't been taught that.
Right.
We haven't been taught that we're necessary. And what helped you come to that, realizing that you're necessary?
Like, I tried,
Yeah.
to take, that didn't work, and I'm just like, I'm still here, and I'm so filled with joy, and I'm happy, and I just want to share that.
Yep, I'm so excited.
Everyone.
Thank you so much, BJ. So just like the sun, we are all necessary.
Yes.
And now we are going to have some time of worship. And Dominique is going to bring the party back, the Jesus party. Dominique Bradford, and he's going to sing, "He Will Make a Way," just like he did for BJ. He's going to make a way for you too.
Come on, put those hands together. Let's have some good old-fashioned hand clapping, toe tapping, and if my grandmother was here, she would say tongue talking church. Come on, put those hands together. Oh, listen to these words. There are times in this life when things seem to go wrong, and it looks like you've done everything. The problem still stands strong. Trust in the Lord and never doubt. Don't you worry, He'll bring you out. No matter the problem, your situation, He will make a way. Yeah, there are times in this life when things seem to go Yes, he will.